The spirit of the wind speaks of 6 impossible things before breakfast. It speaks of old things it is ready to carry away from you. It speaks of something stirring in the east, an air elemental, the activation of knowledge within you, keys of knowledge, magical gifts, and the blessings that they help you retrieve. But in order to unlock the vault to this treasure trove of knowledge, of things that are considered hidden or secret, you must find the harmony point, the serenity point within what may seem quite complicated. It's essential, though, in order for you to tap into the potential that will be introduced to you over the next 72 hours. This is a time when there will be a lot of synchronicity coming in. Hawk medicine featuring strongly, especially with the direction east associated with air elemental coming into play. So do be on the lookout for messages from spirit coming in the form of what seemed like coincidences to some who have geared their mindset to be more oriented to a state of overactive imagination, full of worry and concern and strategizing their next steps. So they've sort of taken too logical of a view of their life path and have severed themselves from the true potential of the blessings that are on offer to them. They can only be accessed if you're able to have a whole new view on how even within something that can seem quite wicked, there can be a blessing. Makes me think of the blessing. It's an old Norse blessing that says, may the road rise up to meet you and the wind always be at your back. And I get the sentiment, just to always have that energy, the current of your life moving in a forward progression, and for the path to appear before you and for you to be able to go with that inspiration of the Fool, to be able to have the optimism and the spirit and the enthusiasm to be willing to step on a path that might be completely unfamiliar to you, and to feel the momentum in that, to feel the force behind you supporting that and pushing you forward. But if you think about it, as I discovered on my walk today, because it's really a blustery day, and me and Ted went out to enjoy the winds. But I love the winds. They speak to me. And the wind was blowing on my back, and I have long hair, so it was causing my hair to come and cover my vision. And it was an annoyance, It was an annoyance, and it struck me as funny because it made me think about how, there's always like the polar opposite. It's always there. The shadow, the light, it's always there, the positive, the negative polarities, they're always there because it's the sum total of the whole, and you can't really dissect one from the other. It's more a vantage point. It's more a vantage point. It's more a place of perspective. And that really does remind me of that hawk medicine as well. It's like when you can pan out from something, you can get a different view. When you can give something breathing room, you can get a different view. When you look at it from a different angle, it doesn't look quite the same, right? So you can be moving against the wind, and you can be moving with what seems like a lot of perceived resistance that you're facing. But, oh, what of you? Because it just, it feels good to have the wind blowing on your face and blowing your hair back, and just feeling all that heaviness sort of, you know, falling away from you too. It's all how you perceive it. It really is a matter of perception. I feel like this is sort of like this space that we're entering into here. It's a brain space, and it's a brain space that is difficult to really translate into words. It's something that's more felt. It's something that's more sensed. It's something that's more intuitive or sparks the imagination and perhaps creates a little bit of a meandering sort of thought process too. And some of the places it takes you might feel a little uncomfortable, or you might not quite understand what is being communicated through some of the experiences you're having. And yet things keep happening that keep promoting the same kind of reaction within you, the same kind of sensation, the same kind of suspicion in some cases. Yeah, look at this. Two of Pentacles in reverse. This is like, I don't even know the first thing about how I'm supposed to be moving forward right now, because I can't make heads nor tails of anything I'm dealing with. But see, you don't really get it. It's like you're already moving forward. You're just moving forward in a totally different way. It's like Skywalker energy. It's a very different brain space. It's not something that can be strategized. I mean, there is the quality of air elemental that is very sharp, and it can be very focused when we think of it in terms of the swords and the intellect and putting frameworks around things intellectually, and sort of going through our checks and balances in our storehouse of knowledge and our thought process. But there's another aspect of air elemental when we're looking in terms of the spirit of the wind, where it's highly changeable. And it can also, much like water, take on any form. And it's also something that refuses to be contained. Air will find a way. Air will find a way through, just as water finds a way through too. We do have water elemental very much at the forefront right now because Neptune entered into Aries. And we also got a whole lot of action going down in the house of Pisces. So that Neptunian energy is at the forefront, and it can create, in some cases, depending on your orientation and how you're looking at your life, your situation, your options, your potentials, your connections, whatever it is that you're sort of considering here, you can really look at it through the lens of being mired in illusion or confusion, or feeling a little bit like you want to have some escapism. And when I think about escapism, it's wanting to get out of those confines of the swords, of that sort of Eight of Swords experience where you feel like you're all caught up in your mind, and get to a place where it's more lively and light, and it's more celebratory and fun and spirited and playful and creative. And we can enter those brain spaces very easily through escapism. And there's a way to do that that can be beneficial. And then there's a way that we can do that that can be more of a hindrance. And Neptune in its shadow is very much about obsession or addiction, It can be totally disconnecting from one's experience and choosing the illusion rather than looking at what's real, because that can be a bit more comfortable at times than facing the sharp edge of a particular truth. It can be easier to embrace a fantasy than the reality. And yet there's a fine balance with that, because sometimes it's wonderful to escape to the imagination, because that's when creativity can come through. It's also the place where solutions arrive. And there is a way that we can tap into that potential to escape from the humdrums, to escape from what's become perhaps a little too analytic, and move into more of an expressive space where we can kind of like just play with the energy and figure it out a little bit. This is how it's coming in. And I feel like there's disruptive elements here. I do feel like there's things that are whirling about right now. There are winds of change whipping up. There are storms to come, storms that may disrupt harmony, storms that may bring some towers. But there's also the sense of, even within those kinds of landscapes, there's still points of stillness that can be found that allow that point of escapism from what is sort of too defined, to allow a true potential to come through. This is about embracing the undefinable. And the only way you can really do that at times is to be in a place of receptivity and stillness and not resisting. That's often underestimated when people think of harmony. That's often underestimated. Lack of resistance, how much that can contribute to a state of harmony, tranquility, equanimity. Yes. People hear the word harmony, and a lot of times they think it's like everything has to be in its proper order and be pleasing and pleasing to all involved, and that it's like this thing of beauty, and that's not necessarily true. Sometimes harmony is found in just lack of resistance, regardless of what one's facing, and finding whatever spot you can within whatever's going on that is the place where there can be a point of peace. You know what I mean? Where you can just rest in something, even if it's uncomfortable. Either way, I feel like the spirit of the wind is saying that there's something that's about to shift here. And it's going to carry away from you something that has been with you for a long time, that's been needing to fall away. And I think whatever that something is, it's going to be very different for all of you. Oh, look at this. Yes, these winds are coming in. In fact, you may see something start to shift in the next 8 hours that signals this transformation, that speaks of secret magics that are awakening, secret gifts, storehouses within you of hidden knowledge that unlock potentials and blessings. There's messages that are carried on the wind. And so I think of the winged messengers coming through with that. Just as I said that, this man went running by, and it made me think of Mercury with the winged shoes, you know? Messages that come in that get you moving forward swiftly with that wind at your back, because those wings are on the back of Mercury's shoes. Yeah, look at this. Working with the Neptunian energy with the Knight of Cups and that seahorse there. That reminds me of the hippocampus. the magical seahorses that draw forward Neptune's chariot. So, yes, this is the waterway and finding a way through. It's so funny how often these elementals and their pairings come back around, because there was a lot of this that came through last year as well. And I believe it was around this time, around springtime, where there was the talking about the mirroring of similarities between air elemental, water elemental. And in fact, they are synergistically connected, air elemental and water elemental. It takes the two of them to combine to form the substance, the foundation of life. So there's something about that coming through. I also, of course, have that download that came in for the air elemental earlier. It was a 72-hour download, much like this one for the collective, that was 6 impossible things before breakfast. Only I feel like that's something that's being activated collectively. And in fact, today when I'm recording this, there's a transit going on with Venus and Pisces. Okay, so I do feel this is that energy merging of the Venusian energy, the Neptunian energy. And when I think of that, if you pair that Venus energy with the energy of Neptune, that is the muse. That is the muse. There's something here that's being mused. It comes in the next 72 hours. Hippocampus, of course, is totally connected to the way you are able to access that brain space too, that can arrive you at a state of samadhi, calm center, place of nothingness, which automatically becomes the place of everything. The impossibility suddenly becomes a total possibility. Once the old is carried away from you, you move forward on the waterway in an intuitive way, in a creative way, in a way you've never considered before. This is how it's coming in. Brownie points, the fairies say, if you choose to create meditative space in nature where the winds can whisper in your ear. Okay. There's very, very interesting energy coming through with this. This is all that wanted to come through today. And every day I tune in just to see what messages want to come through. And this is what wanted to be delivered today. A message from the spirit of the wind. Oh, Queen of Swords, that's the truth, okay? there's that spirit of the wind right there, okay? What's she looking at? Let's look at this. We've got some interesting energy out here, so I'm going to check this out. What is she looking at? She's looking over her shoulder. She's looking at something behind her. And it's interesting because look at these two impish characters that are actually before her, in front of her. But this is not what she's focused on. She's focused on this because she's looking back. If she changed her orientation, though, she would be able to see these two impish characters hanging out here. Oh, wait. There's not two. There's actually three. Very interesting. Very interesting. She's burning something in her other hand. It's some kind of offering. It's some kind of offering. And it's carried to the heavens. I heard shine like the morning star. That makes me think of Venus. A gift of Venus. a gift of Venus that's trying to get your attention, but you're distracted. You're distracted because you're looking behind you. And the truth that you need to see is actually before you. If you look before you, you're going to be able to discover where the impious influence is coming from in a situation. It's a little tricksy. It's a little tricksy here. Offering up some smoke. The blessings of Venus. You might want to do some smoke cleansing here. There might be an old energy that needs to be carried away from you with the smoke. You might want to even go outside, actually get into the air current and do a real good smoke cleansing and let the spirit of the wind carry the old energy from you. It might be sort of like this impious influence that you're carrying forward with you. And it makes you feel like you're still oriented to the past because in a sense you're dragging old energy forward with you. Yes, this is very helpful. This is very helpful here. You're being given a key of knowledge here that will help you tap in to your magical gifts and secure some treasures of the fairy here. I feel that very strongly. They're giving you some insight here. What's crossing the King of Pentacles? Okay, so this is something that has been preventing a certain fruition of manifestation in your life, something getting rooted in your life that symbolizes your sun, your happiness. Notice how it's coming in with the bird medicine. Looks like goose, Capricorn energy. Cardinal energy is coming through pretty strongly so far. We have Capricorn here. We have Queen of Swords, very strong Libra. So that also brings in the Aries energies, descendant of the Libra energy. Cancerian energy is the descendant of Capricorn energy, and those are the cardinal signs. So there's something about the cardinal signs here are getting a helpful key of knowledge that will give them the activation of magical gifts that secure certain treasures or blessings that relieve their crossed condition. The crossed condition is related to a serious cycle, karmic cycle that the cardinal signs have been moving through for a hot minute now. Now, what is this at the center? Because there's something at the center of this all with how I set this up here. And it's almost making me think of like 5 elementals as well. Interesting. It's at the center. Oh, 5 of Swords in the center. Wow. Okay. So yes, the spirit of the wind is trying to speak to something that betrays certain knowledge that you hold. Ooh, cardinal energy I just saw outside. Yes, this is a message here. There's something that betrays knowledge that you hold, but the knowledge that you hold is in your roots. And there was something that came in very strongly earlier, just when I was out and about on my walk, and I was listening to the spirit of the wind because it came in so strongly. I knew I had to go out and I had to connect with air elemental for it to really sort of get dialed in as far as just the initial inspiration of what wanted to flow through. And what came through is somebody can try to steal your magic, but they can never steal what's hidden in your roots. I feel like that's speaking to this. There's a very helpful piece coming in here that secures a certain treasure, a certain blessing. And that's interesting. So across from the Libra card here, we have the King of Pentacles, which is normally earth sign energy. But that's true. That's true. Saturn entered Aries, started a brand new cycle, learning cycle. Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. I'm spotting this here, and it's currently Aries solar return. I see. Okay, so this is the start of figuring out what's hidden in your roots is something that activates your blessings. You may think that somebody has tried to steal your magic in some way. For you alchemists, you may actually really resonate with this and say, yes, I feel like somebody has been trying to access my magic or grok my magic or tap into my magic or try to swipe my magic, okay? Try to steal my shine in some way. For others of you, this could be coming through in a more sort of like metaphorical way of your magic being like your secret sauce, like something that's your inspiration. It's your particular stamp on things. It's got you all over it. It's your brand or your idea or your creative project or your new beginning that you worked hard to lay the foundation for. This kind of energy, it's something that is wanting to get rooted. And this gives me that message that's like really been coming through of, the castles in the sky getting rooted on the earth, getting rooted in material reality. All comes in with that goose medicine that brought in the Capricorn piece for me. And the goose is bringing in that Ace of Pentacles energy connected to the spring season. So this is the start of striking gold. I feel like this is, and that gold of the Tuatha De Danann has been coming in quite a bit recently. And I'm still journeying down some rabbit holes with that one. I know there's a message there for us, though, a big one. And there's something here about helpful influence coming in that's going to be a transformation point, right? 8 hours from now, this kicks off. So you'll start to sense a wind change. You'll sense a wind change, like an atmospheric shift. And a certain glamour is going to color the view from your current reality tunnel there. But it's very Neptunian. It's like entering dream time. And it's almost like this goose transforms, right? This goose sort of takes you on a flight. You could see it almost like a magic carpet ride to help you pan out and get a different view, a bird's eye view. So you can take a little bit of that fantasy space, those castles in the sky, and root it on earth. It's going to reveal something to you. It's going to reveal to you, it's going to give you a message about how to move forward to overcome what has been a sabotaging influence here. Okay. See, when you bring it in like this is what has caught the Queen of Swords' attention, looking back at this other character that is already taken, that is already betrayed, that's already attempted to steal something, but is ready to come back for more. I see that. So there is some kind of resistance here, oppositional energy. But to release the burden of this and arrive at the point of justice, look at that. Balancing of this old karmic cycle that frees the cardinal signs from a particular holding pattern and activates the transformation. This tricky element must be dealt with first for the future growth that's wanting to be rooted here and is promised. This is like a final test. Again, the wind wants to carry the old from us here. But we're still weighed down by it. It's like something that seems far more laborious than it should. And the cardinal just swooped down. So it's so funny because it came up and then it flew back down here. That's interesting. There's definitely something that's wanting to get your attention, to give you a different view, a higher view of your situation, so you can really get the lay of the land here. And then you're meant to take what you get up there as you pan out. You're meant to take a little bit of that inspiration and move a little differently here. It reminds me of like Sisyphus, like trying to push that huge boulder up that hill. There's something that you're doing here that's making your way forward like that. It's equated to that. But all you have to do is just sort of like drop this. And then you can tend to this growth you're wanting to see. It's more like, it's got like place card energy. It's got place card energy. It's almost like a magician here put something in place to tether you to impious influences that keep you distracted looking back at what stole your time. It's got something about like the time thief here. That's the way it steals the energy, is through distracting you. You're giving it your time. Your time is valuable. It's like I'm looking in my mind's eye at the image of an hourglass with the sands about to run out. Let the wind carry away the old from you. And this character here may want to turn back time because they recognize that as well. They recognize that the sands of time are about to run out, which means time's up on them. Ooh. They may try to court a return. There's some kind of message. Pay attention to the details of this. Little things are big things here. You do have the power to transform this and bring balance to this situation. But you are entering this space that it can be a creative play space where you can really mock up a new reality tunnel, but it can also be a place of disillusionment and getting caught up in illusion due to having an overactive imagination that's hardwired to fixate on problematic influences rather than harnessing the creative energies, which are automatically already more harmonized with the solution. It's the distraction is what is the spell that needs to be broken here. The distraction of giving your time through the currency of your thoughts to the sabotaging influence here that is energy harvesting. That's how they're stealing your magic. See, because you're meant to keep that space as that creative space where you can call in your manifestations, where you're able to use your power in such a way that you transform your reality, free yourself from the holding pattern. And see, this is when your roots, look, there's all these roots here, and it's hard to see, but there's all these fairy folk that are in the roots. It's like the roots of fairy. It's like those roots of fairy, the Dagda, like wanting to come up and strengthen you and reminding you of the magic that you hold. So I do feel like there's something you're going to gain access to here, but it's something that gets carried in on the wind. So it could come through a message. It could come through a dream. It could come through some kind of inspiration. It could come when you're connecting with the wind itself. When the wind blows, there's something to be accessed there. It's always best to go and connect with the elementals when they come through and they're speaking like that, because there's something that you're only going to understand when you're in direct connection with the spirit of that thing. And this is specifically coming in relation to the wind. So even when the air is still and there's no wind, that's a certain kind of wind too. You know what I mean? That's the potentiality of the wind. It may not be activated yet. The wind may be still for a moment, but it can very quickly whip up. And we see this too. That happens a lot, before there's a big storm. People will talk about that with things like tornadoes, how all of a sudden the air gets really still, right? And then all of a sudden everything gets like whipped up, and very much changes the landscape. And I feel like there's this kind of like potency, potentiality here right now, because I see it with the Ace of Pentacles here. It's here. It's on the scene. So there is some gold. The Tuatha De Danann. This is like the roots of fairies speaking here, are putting on the table. But in order for you to be able to access this, to get the knowledge you need that taps the potential of this magical gift, that's a blessing of the fairy, you have to be able to receive your messages from the spirit of the wind. Something comes in on a wing in a prayer. Something comes in the form of the patterns of birds or the type of birds you're seeing. Something comes in with the direction that the wind is blowing in. Something comes in through communication. And it can be direct communication. This is Mercury energy here. It's a transformation point that comes through some message. Whatever the message is, it takes you on a ride. It takes you places. And that could be practically. You could feel very compelled to travel in a certain direction, or to turn down a street that you've never turned before. And there's something waiting there for you that is like the treasure vault to a magical gift awakening in you. It provides some kind of insight, something that's deeply rooted in your being. It acts as like the catalyst to a moment of, I see, it's one of those moments where suddenly you understand something, suddenly where you didn't know how to unlock the potential. You got the key. You got the key that you need. But it's through something you're encountering in day-to-day reality. But it feels a bit like walking in dream time. It has that vibe of a wind rider, a murk rider, the rider of the hedge. It's a little bit of that, afoot in both worlds simultaneously. Interesting. Let me do a cut of the deck on this. And then I want to pull out this other fairy deck I got just to expand on the message. Look at this, the Empress. The muse has awakened. Look at this. She's arriving on the scene. This is the muse is coming in to activate a transformation in consciousness and reveal to you secret things. Big celestial vermilion bird here. That's one of the heavenly beasts. It speaks of transformation. It's very similar to Phoenix rising energy. The only thing that's different about it is it's more oriented to etheric matters. It's more oriented to cosmic knowledge activation. It's more oriented to that kind of expansion that's happening more in the like upper chakra channels here. But whatever it activates, whatever it awakens, how her garden grows. Look at this. This is just a really transformed energy. Once this balance and harmony is achieved and something is seen from a different perspective, it's like it feels like a spell is broken. Then it's as simple as it would have been for Sisyphus to just say, well, we're just going to let the boulder, roll down the hill here. You can just simply put this down. This is the trick, this is the trick that's been played here. It's like somebody can choose to sort of put something on you, but it's your choice if you choose to take that up. You know what I'm saying? And something's been taken up here that is used as an excuse for not seeing a certain growth or fruition that actually one took up, and they didn't need to. They took it on and they're still holding it. But it's like something can't be seen accurately until this like illusion is broken, which is like clearing out the cobwebs in the consciousness and getting this more expansive perspective here. It helps one understand the root of an issue too, as well. Right? So that root messaging coming through here. Interesting. What's on the other side? Queen of Cups. Okay. Really wild look at the mirroring of the energy. We talked about that. The air, the water. Look, it's here again. The air, the water. So this is what I'm gathering here. This is like the energy of the South Node of Libra, reaching the place of knowledge brought about through the ignition of Mercury, Virgo's ruler. Okay, Virgo currently in the South Node can also be represented with the Swords energy here. Whatever got kicked off in that cycle when Libra was at the south node and Aries in the north node, that learning cycle has been completed, as indicated when Saturn entered into Aries and that began. We're at the fresh start of the learning cycle here. But now it's about you learning to step into the empowerment, not being frozen in the chrysalis state of still thinking the lesson needs to be learned. The work has already been done. Now it's time to grow. You see, the work's already been done. Now it's time to grow. You're still doing the work, but all that's left to do now is grow, enter the creative cycle here. And that is what is going to be recognized. See, here come the cups, cauldron of Dagda energy. Here comes the replenishment. Here comes the source of nourishment. Here comes what waters the seeds that were planted in the ground of your being as your soil was tilled, as the ground was leveled. Now something can come to fruition here. This is like that waterway opening up. It comes through the Neptunian energy though. See, so there's a lot of this like creative inspiration that comes in here that makes these sort of intangible things we're discussing in this download make complete sense. But it's the place of embodied wisdom. You know what I mean? It's in the roots of your being. It's not something that you can necessarily intellectualize. It's something that's rooted in the soul. So it's more just harmonizing with that conduit. It's like water is a conduit, right? So it's like harmonizing with that frequency, that energy signature. It's shifting the focus from the toil and the labor and the work to the growth and the tangible result of seeing something actually finally break through the ground of your being and into material reality. Because now it's time to actually enact the transformation with the magician here, because a certain power has been stepped into that must be recognized. And just the choice to step into your power automatically makes sort of these impious influences fall away. That's wild. I accidentally knocked the top of this deck and it fell to the side. And what fell to the side here? We have the King of Swords. Look at this. You got a pair here. See, but you're going to change the orientation. You're going to take action to look at something in a different way instead of looking back. You're getting a higher perspective. You're getting a bird's eye view. You're looking down upon it and helps you understand the lay of the land and what's rooted there. What came with these? There's cards attached to the Empress here. And I feel like this is speaking to this. So the Empress fell away with the Page of Pentacles, okay, the initiation of the brand new learning cycle. And look at this energy with the star. And here we got the water and that air elemental coming together again in Aquarius, the water bearer. Pluto's in Aquarius right now. So yes, this is something that's really tying back to all that work we did, that heavy duty work we did during the Pluto cycles that we were moving through. And we've definitely been looking at a lot of subterranean stuff here. But see, now we're coming into that place, the waterway, the flow, because of this message that's carried in on the wind. Look at that, heart of gold. A heart of gold. Your heart's been refined. Your heart is going through a refining process because of some kind of spiritual cleansing here. Frog Clan. Frog Clan. We have Butterfly Clan here too. Yes, that's the water elementals and the air elementals here. Interesting. Something above is being mirrored below. So it can root in material reality, but it's only arrived at through some kind of reflection from a different vantage point. And then one's able to break an illusion. And there's decisive movement forward that leads to the rebirth energy with the Knight of Swords here. Bat medicine. And right behind that, we have temperance. Look at that. North node activation. 2 cups are filled. 2 cups are filled. Is it the same cups that are being used as vessels to nurture this growth here? They're upturned. They receive their destiny. Interesting. So there's something here that has its roots in the past, because the foundation of the matter behind the Empress here is strength. And it's very interesting with this correlation here with strength, because strength is sometimes the number 11 in certain tarot decks. In this particular deck that I call my fairy tarot, it's really the Paulina tarot, it's 8. In other decks, justice is 8 and strength is 11. So these two energies have been sort of coming in as dualistic as well. And I am getting synchronicities coming in around these numbers. And I'm actually, as I'm looking over the board here, I do see quite a few 8s coming out, indications of that. There's a lot of 11 energy on the board as well. Okay, so do look for those combinations coming in. 8, 11. It speaks of a unifying point. It's like the road opening to a unifying point in something that you couldn't come into alignment or harmony with until you had completed a learning cycle. It's like you as an individual completed a particular learning cycle, and now it's time to enter into that learning cycle with another, because that is what aligns you with your North Node. It's a soulmate activation coming in here. It's the treasure that you can't see right now because you keep looking back on what seems like the loss of a celebration. And actually, the celebration is just about to begin. Again, coming in with bat medicine, the 2 of Cups here. This is a treasure that you won't recognize, though, until you gain access to this knowledge that's the key that allows you to actually be in a space where you can receive this pearl of wisdom. It's okay. You have some help. Every time I see this, it reminds me of Ilbe, the retriever of lost things, is here to assist you with this. A wonderful fairy that I was introduced to by the master Brian Frab. So Ilbe on the scene is here to take you on an adventure to recover something that was lost. But it requires flights of fancy to root this vision down on earth. I feel that very strongly here. Interesting. I want to pull out my other fairy cards, just get around with them, because this is a really cool deck. It's very unique. Oh, it's beautiful sunset outside. The clouds are like this golden pink hue, very Venusian. Look at that. We have temperance on the bottom of this deck as well. Wow. So yes, there's some kind of transformation that is happening here, getting to that pot of gold on the other side of the rainbow. Something has been alchemized and refined here that's bringing in a gift for two from fairy. Interesting energy here. Sagittarian energy on the board. We've got Aquarian energy, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, strong Libra. We also have water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. We got strong Gemini out here as well. Yeah, really strong Gemini as well. You see it here. Capricorn introduced themselves for sure. We did have earth sign energy come in. So Taurus, Virgo as well. Really strong Aquarian energy. We have pretty strong air energy here. Doesn't surprise me though, with the spirit of the wind. And I do feel like that download of the 6 impossible things before breakfast is being activated for the collective right now. It's not just about the air signs. I mean, it never really is. But yeah, this is something, it's given as a gift from the spirit of the wind to bring transformation point in your life, to get to the pot of the gold. To get to the pot of gold that's on the other side. Interesting. All right, what's coming in here? What is coming in here? What else do you want us to know about this fairy? It's a new deck. It's a little slippery. Ooh, all kinds of stuff. Oh, wow. 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 Oh. You can try to steal the magic, but you can't steal the roots. You see here, if you look at this clause in the Book of Fairy, it's stated unequivocally here, you may not steal the roots. Hermit energy coming in again, big Virgoan energy. This is the South Node, and you know that's the root of the matter right now. Is that Virgo energy at the South Node? This is activating some kind of knowledge that suddenly lights up the way forward, and it helps one resolve a particular issue here, where somebody did try to steal something that wasn't for them. It wasn't rooted in the ground of their being, but yours. Understanding came about this after being caught up, having to get a different view. You will see this too. It's what will allow you to enter the waterway. I'm almost seeing that waterway under the hangman once they sort of solve that knot that gets them out of that fixed position and into that true essence of mutability that comes with the Piscean energy of the hangman. This almost has vibes of like, searching for the water in a deeper well. And this is the deepest well. It's giving me vibes of the well of Danu, which is the roots of fairy. The birthing point of fairy, that primordial source, Danu. Yes, see, it's interesting. The intellect cannot set one free. You can't pull a fast one here either, like Alexander the Great did when cutting the Gordian knot. No, there's something about the reflection of finding a way through that cannot be strategized or intellectualized, but is something that is accessed through the waters. It's something that's accessed through source. It's something that's accessed through self-reflection. It's something that's accessed through scrying, through tapping into a different kind of vision. It's accessed through the intuition. It's accessed through not trying to take action or try to cut one's way through, but figuring out how one can slip through, slip through spaces, places. This also gives me the vibe of like entering a portal too, or entering a birthing way or rebirthing way of sorts. And it's giving me those vibes of like rabbit hole energy, only in the form of like the deepest well. What you're looking for is at the bottom of the deepest well. It's in the roots. It's in the roots. It's not here with one who tried to take something intrinsically yours and betray you in this way and run off with it. Because the roots of it are rooted in your records and they remain in the ground of your being. You see here? Self-knowledge. Self-knowledge, what's coming in here? And with that, we have a Knight of Wands. Only in this deck, it comes in with the acorn. I think the dryads have something to communicate about this. When was the last time you hugged your dryad? When was the last time you went and spent time with the tree? There's something about finding a way through, gaining access to the waterway by spending time with a tree in reflection. You'll get what you need to take action, to move forward. Whatever this is, it has mighty roots and it grows, it endures. It can never be cut down. It's the world tree. It's almost like it's giving me almost vibes of like traveling to the different realms of the world tree too. Because it's giving me that impression, you know, when Odin was hung from the Yggdrasil tree and gained knowledge of secret things that could only come through that crucible of having his metal tested, getting that view. It's like turning things upside down to gain something that is able to bring things right side up, or rather root them in material reality. But it can only be accessed through the trial of heading into territory where you can't use your usual tools or resources or defenses here. Like the old magic tricks don't work, you know, all that juju's been spilled. There's something that's transforming here. It's the true spirit of magic awakening in you. I got like big druid energy coming in with this, like druids, the dryads, like dryad energy coming through very strongly here. What do we got? I love it. Yeah, see, you had to hang out here for a while. So all those old tricks you play on yourself by looking over your shoulder all the time, looking back at something, thinking that you need to understand that more in order to get where you're going. That's actually what's held you up. And the wind wants to carry away from you all those leaves that have already fallen with the 10 of leaves here, which leaves are associated with the air element in this deck. They are swords. So yes, it's like the ending of the old cycle. It's time for this to be released from you so you can embrace the season, the turning of the wheel. We entered spring equinox. It's a time of new growth. And ironically, I just discovered when I was doing some research on Norse lunar cycles that Ostara the celebration of that new life and growth in correlation with the ancient Norse lunar cycles actually will be arriving with the Libra full moon that's coming in, I believe, on the 12th. And you break that down, that 12 energy, it breaks down to 3, the Empress. That's the transformation point. Yes, it speaks of something coming to being at that time. Look at this. We got the Ace of Hearts here. What is that? It's related to seasons. Comes in with the roar of a lion, goes out like a lamb. I don't remember the exact saying or what seasons it's associated with. But I'm picking up big spring energy around this. And something that fulfills the heart. This could be finally understanding what fulfills the heart. Anything else here? We saw this before too. It's the transformation point of the heart, because that message that comes in with that Aquarian energy that came in with the star, the heart was gold. So this is the beginning of the transformation of your heart space here. Okay. More details about this. More details about this for the collective. 6 of Swords. Okay, so there, that message is mirrored there. This is entering the waterway. This came in. Look at this. And they're riding a duck. The fairy is riding the duck fairy on that waterway. This is allowing something to fall away. And as I picked up the 6 of Swords, it removes blocks that have been in place. Look at this. It removes the blocks that were put in place and brings in the Emperor, the counterpart. Wow, this is wild. This is a huge transformation point. And with that, we got a Knight of Hearts here. Knight of Hearts, Knight of Acorns, fire, water energy, gives the vibes of temperance, the Sagittarian energy that came in, the alchemy point as well. Something is transforming your heart space here. Something that comes in here is giving you the true gold of the Tuatha De Danann. That's saying things to me. That's saying certain things to me. You might be getting the key that actually is granting you entry into fairy. Ooh, yes. Let's see. Look, there's the road open with the Fool. I love it. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. You're off on your adventure like the great bard Taliesin. This is an electrifying moment here. We do have a tower coming in. We do have a tower coming in. And it is something that, like, it cracks open the consciousness to a totally new perspective, like a bolt out of the blue. And this is what it disrupts. It disrupts the illusion. There's been some kind of confusion, illusion, disorientation, and it's been part of an initiatory process, but there's something that has not been seen here. We have to remember, we've been moving through that eclipse energy. This coming in with Pisces here. So it's something that can't activate the North Node potential until the illusion around it is disrupted. And that's what's coming in with this message that's like a bolt out of the blue. And it opens the road to the new learning cycle and the Fool's Journey. And you have a companion with you here. There's somebody that's joining you here, right? Some kind of judgment has been sounded in this situation. And there is somebody that's joining you here that's been trying to keep you from going down this road. But you're going to be able to transform this situation. I heard unlikely compadre. It's like you got somebody that's joining you on this road that's an unlikely companion. I don't know why I got this. Like, you might be more adventurous, or you might be more willing to sort of, just march to the beat of your own drum, or, sort of thumb your nose at other people's shoulds or ideas. You're up for an adventure. You're up for some sense of playfulness here. And you have somebody that's more cautionary, somebody that's more sort of stuck in their ways, or really worried about practicalities or something like this. And you may not realize it, but the road's opening for the two of you. And it's sort of like they're cautioning you here, but they're kind of getting dragged along for the ride. I see that. It's like you're trying to maybe even teach it could be a more cautionary side of yourself. I could see that, like the part of you that keeps you from like moving into these more creative spaces, or going for that more out of pocket like opportunity, something you normally wouldn't do, but you're really intrigued to do it, but you've been too scared to do it. There's something here where I think it might be a little trick you played on yourself. You might have been sort of labeling it as somebody else like holding you back here because of their cautions, and they very well could have had judgments about some of the things you wanted to do here. But I actually feel that was more an excuse for the parts of you that's sort of scared to just kind of let it all out here, really show up as you are. I mean, you're going through some process here where you're definitely embracing entering the mystic here. Like, you don't want ordinary life. There's the more magical side of you, the bigger part of you that's ready to sort of like throw caution to the wind. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe there is a little bit of that. That's the old thing that you need to let the wind carry away from you. Maybe this caution, because maybe concerns have been laid to rest with the Four of Swords. And this is what's kept you in this illusion. And once you see through that, the deception of that, that's when you gain your Ace of Wands there, and you're able to activate that potentiality that gets revealed to you through the spirit of the wind. You become the Queen of Wands here. I like this. I like this. All right, this is good energy. Now all the fire signs are here. All right, so there, I see that. There might be like hesitancy. of taking action in a certain direction. I like how these two decks play off of each other. Okay, one more round with this, and then I'm going to do a cut of the deck here, and we'll call this good. Because I feel like this is just sort of initiating the energy so you'll know what to be on the lookout for. Look at it in this deck right here. What do we got? We got the 8 with the scales representing Libra. I did not know that justice was 8 in this deck. That is so funny that got brought in. That is so funny that got brought in. Okay, so yes, you do have the strength. You're overcoming a previous challenge. And maybe with an unlikely compadre here, okay, that's going to be journeying forward with you that didn't have the courage before, but perhaps on the other side of this transforming force that's going to come in like a bolt out of the blue, they will find that courage, okay? And there's some balance activated here with justice. Ooh, I like this. Okay, cut of the deck. That's wild how that came out. That is so beautiful the way that came out. And with that, we got the Ace of Wands here. I know an action's going to be taken here. It's Ace of Acorns with this deck. Whatever it is, oh, you're going to be so tickled here. You're going to be tickled pink. I just heard, that is so pink. Charlotte's Web energy. You're going to be so surprised. So surprised about all those little threads of connectivity with the way this comes together. Whatever this is, whatever starts now, this has real deep roots. And it's about you stepping into that power of the magician. You're finally like recovering your true magic, what's already been rooted in you. And it's bringing in this beautiful balance in your life that's awakening the blessings of the fairy. I feel like it's going to be really gratifying here. If times have been lean, get ready for, a proper feast here. And oh, look at that. We got it with the judgment coming in. I love that. Look at that. Oh, this is so awesome here. So yes, rise and shine. It's going to be time soon. Something's awakening in the roots. It speaks of things about to stir. It speaks of seeds that have been gestating in the dark and are ready to break the ground of your brain open to all the potential and possibilities that are in store for you. And something is justice, this beautiful balance that comes through. But before, you first have to get your key, and it's a key of knowledge. I recommend you go and sit with a tree.